It's 7 p.m. We'll call the October 17th regularly scheduled meeting of the Economic Development Commission to order at 7:02 p.m. I guess, do we have anybody sign up for citizens to be heard, Glenn?
No, Mr. President.
Okay. Now we had to call order citizens to be heard. We have consent agenda items 3 through 8, which is basically housekeeping items, approval of the minutes, approval of our usual EDC fiscal year ending revenue and expenditure report, approval of a resolution of the board, approving agreement of management services between the City of Helotes and the EDC. That's something we have to do every year to maintain services and some joint services and activities that go on back and forth to the city. Approval of a resolution of the Board of Directors on adopting an investment policy and strategy for public investment purposes. I don't know if anybody had any questions on that. Item 6. It's the standard, basically the standard policy that we use, federal or state requirement. We have to do that every year. 7 is a resolution designating investment officers for investment purposes for the Economic Development Commission. I believe that that's you, isn't it, Rick?
Yes, sir. It's myself and the city treasurer.
And the city treasurer, right. Same as we've done it in the past. And the 8 is approval of a resolution adopting a list of approved brokers and dealers for investment purposes. We're starting to have some more options now that we can actually do on investing our money where we're getting more than 0.5% on it. You've got some vehicles out there that can get you, I think, up to 2 or 3% on short-term interest now, which will amount to a fair amount of cash for us. Does anybody have any questions on items 3 through 8? Could I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion.
Motion by Joel, seconded by Bill. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimously passed. Item 9 is discussion and action on a 1-year extension of services office use between the EDC and the Helotes Chamber of Commerce. We just put that in a few months ago. Where we made an agreement with the Helotes Chamber of Commerce to provide office space and the lease space we have right over here next door in the little shopping center. They have one office and they have a part-time secretary or whatever they call it that comes in like 4 hours a day and takes calls for the city or for the Chamber of Commerce and kind of helps Glenn, and Glenn does some work back and forth with them too. And basically what we've done is, I think on this one's the same. I didn't get a chance to look over all of this. We are doing basically, rather than them paying rent, we're doing a exchange of services for sponsorship for some of their events and fundraisers by the City of Helotes, and they give us credit for that money rather than paying it in lieu of us paying them and then them paying us rent. Could I have a motion to, I guess I should have had the motion to discuss before I said all that. Motion to discuss item 9.
I'll motion.
Joel?
Well, can we discuss it? How's it working?
Well, this is just a motion for y'all to
to discuss.
discuss.
Okay.
Have a second?
Second.
Motion is seconded. Kathy?
Yeah, how's it working? How's it working, Glenn?
There you go. Right on the money. I think it's been working great. The chamber actually bumped the hours up for their assistant. She's a membership director or something like that. She's working out 30 hours a week, so she's able to maintain pretty consistent office hours.
That's better than we thought.
Well, we thought it would work. It's just
Their goal is to bring her full time.
And they pay her?
They pay her. Yeah. Yeah. But she's able to field calls. She takes care of some of the more residential inquiries we get if they're looking for relocation packets or anything like that. And then whatever traffic comes in, if I'm tied up, then she can take care of it.
Okay. So have we gotten any perks back from it?
Perks?
I mean,
I mean, time saved, honestly. I think for the chamber, they've seen significant
Okay.
impact.
They didn't have a place before?
Yeah, it was my office here at City Hall.
What? What do y'all,
Nothing, he was asking me if I had any input
okay,
towards it.
I'm done. I'm done.
So her previous few jobs where she was executive director of multiple Chamber of Commerce in Abilene, Port Arthur, and I can't remember the third one, but.
What's her name?
She's Kathy,
We keep saying
Kathy Lee, thank you.
Kathy Lee.
And she, so she's very good with speaking with businesses and has no problem, you know, building relationships with them. So I think it does go hand in hand pretty well with what the EDC does with business. So she's able to communicate with them and know, figure out what their needs are, relate information. And that's kind of what her purpose is for the EDC, is to fill in when Glenn's not there, to field calls and talk to them, give packets, give information, and put a face with the EDC. I think she does a good job of that, as she does for the chamber, too.
Okay.
Bill, you have any questions?
No, I just, that doesn't have anything to do with one of these resolutions, does it, coming up? Connected with
Only,
either of those proposed
just on
resolutions?
approving the agreement between the EDC and,
Or we,
and the chambers, all this one.
Number
is.
9, yes.
Number 9.
good. I have no questions.
Okay, all in favor? Oh, we need a motion, yeah.
Well, no, hold on. Rick, I do serve on the board of the Helotes Chamber. I don't get any money. It's a volunteer position. I don't receive any benefit. Do I need to abstain?
That's a good question.
If you, normally I would say yes, but if you abstain, they can't vote, because then they don't have a quorum.
Right.
I receive no benefit either way. I mean, doesn't affect me necessarily.
It really comes down to your comfort. If you're okay voting on this matter, then, I mean, you've already professed that you're a member of the board. If nobody else has a problem with it, then it should probably be fine. But in a normal course of business, I would say yes, you should abstain.
Okay, could we have a motion to approve item 9, agreement between the EDC and the
move
Helotes
that-
Chamber of Commerce?
We approve item
Moved by
9.
Bill,
I'll second.
seconded by Kathy. All in favor?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, it passes 3-0. Item 10, could we have a motion to discuss item 10, Google Business Photo Service Agreement with John Alamares on Google 360?
I'm gonna take that.
I'll
pen
make
away
that
from her.
motion to discuss.
Second.
Moved and seconded to discuss. We've been doing this for 2 years. This will be the 3rd year we've done it, I think, with Google 360. And we get a very, very reduced rate, much lower than what they normally charge. And they go in, I don't know if y'all, you may have seen the Google 360. You can go on to Google and look up a business. It gives you a 360-degree scan of the business, the exterior, the interior of the business, along with their profile. It's very popular with all of the businesses in Helotes. I think we've got virtually every business in town is on it.
Not yet, but that's what this
We're
next
getting real
approval.
close to it.
Is that the same guy that's doing these photos, these drawings?
No,
Not the
no.
same, different guy?
Yeah, totally different. You can see it if you go to, actually go to Shop Awards and do entertainment and show photos, or, we'll pull one up so you can see what it looks like. I know during this 2017 cycle, we'd only had about 3 months to perform the tours, and we got 14 additional businesses at a cost of $3,289.
Where do you want to
Just click in here.
Basically, what we're doing with it now is extending it and continuing to offer it to businesses that have not taken advantage of it and new businesses within the city. So that all the people that are already on it won't need to do it again. It'll just be for new businesses primarily.
And I know the contrast here isn't great, but so this is what basically it looks like. It allows you to walk around businesses in Helotes, and you can spin around, take a look. So it's a Google Virtual Business Tour.
Right over here. You can get a view of the stores right in the front.
So to date, I want to say we've performed close to 70 tours
Nice.
for local businesses. So they get it on their Google. If you're in Google Maps and you're searching a business, this will pull up in their profile. We're also able to get an embed code, and that's how we can host it on Shop a Lotus.
Also linking it through the city's website?
Not the cities, but through this business directory, the Shop a Lotus website we do. And the photographer that performs these will take still photography that we can either use in marketing, we use on Shop a Lotus.
If you could put a link on the city's website to get to those pictures wouldn't be a bad idea.
Yeah, the cities, I know the EDC's website has a link. Honestly, I'm not 100% sure. Okay.
The feedback that I've gotten from businesses is that this is one of the, for the smaller businesses that are already established, this is one of the benefits directly that they see getting from the EDC.
Yeah.
Because a lot of our focus is bringing in new businesses, right? Well, from the current businesses that are here, this is a direct impact where they don't have to come up with the funds at a higher rate to pay for it. We get a reduced rate by doing a bunch of them. So I've gotten positive feedback from
That's a
different
good idea.
current
From
businesses.
from the city's website, you can click economic development, and then business directory. And then that's the site.
Okay.
But we also have a Facebook page for Shop a Lotus, and that's where we do a lot of promotion for local events and everything.
Oh, any more questions on it, Bill?
Nope.
Noel?
Nope.
Kathy?
I'm fine.
Basically, it is for approving the agreement with a maximum dollar amount of $8,000 for a 12-month term and payable in $143 per unit increments, I guess, per business. We probably won't get to that level this year, but we might. So could I have a motion to approve, please?
So move.
I'll second.
Moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, item 10 is passed. Item 11 is discussion and action on recommendation of the city council on the following appointments to the City of Helotes Economic Development Corporation Board of Directors by Mayor Schoolcraft. I think we have all three individuals here tonight. I guess if y'all wouldn't mind, well, I guess we better have a motion to discuss it first.
So move.
So moved. Seconded. I always forget to do that. If y'all wouldn't mind, come up and just tell us a little bit briefly about yourself. Start off, I guess, with the first one would be Patrick. No.
My name is Alan Holmes, a resident of Helotes, and have been for the past 5 years. Been here since I retired from the Houston area. I'm here to express my interest in becoming a member of the Board of Directors for the Economic Development Corporation here in Helotes. As a note of history, I spent what seems like a lifetime to me, roughly 45 years in the commercial construction business, the vast majority of that in the Houston area. But, pardon me, as years progressed, my territory got larger and larger and larger. And just before I retired, I was a senior project manager over the seven-state southeast United States area. And I feel that my knowledge, my expertise in the commercial construction business would probably lend a hand to the Economic Development Corporation, especially on some of the construction-type projects that I have seen on the list of things to be done this year. Any questions?
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alan.
Good evening. My name is Matthew McCrossan. I've been a resident of Helotes for a year and a few days now. The Cedar Springs HOA president, chairman of the Internet Marketing Association in San Antonio, former District 8 appointee of the Small Business Advocacy Committee and chairman of that committee in San Antonio. I own a small business myself. I deal in internet marketing as well as integrated marketing campaigns. Interested in volunteering and helping out where I can. So if you have any questions, let me know. That's the long and short of it.
Good, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome to Helotes.
I guess we have Matthew next.
No, that was Matthew.
Oh, excuse me, Patrick.
Patrick.
Nope, I'm Patrick.
Hello, Patrick.
Patrick Adam here. I've been a resident with Inside Helotes now for the past 13 years, moved down from the Northeast. Background has been 10 years in Wall Street, about 12 years in HR, and most recently, 7 years in cybersecurity. I'm a director over at USAA. Family lives out here. Son goes to O'Connor High School, basketball team. Wife works over as a benefits analyst for Valero. And what I'm looking to do here is give back to the community. I'm on the board for the ISSA Alamo chapter, cybersecurity, here in San Antonio. I've also been a member with the North Chamber of Commerce for a couple of years. Left that and looking to give back at home. That's it.
Good. Thank you.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have any discussion? I just have a point I probably shouldn't make, but I'm going to. I don't feel that this situation has been handled properly, and I would like to, nothing against any of you gentlemen, I'd like to have all three of you on here. But based on the way things have been handled, I would entertain a motion from the board to add Joel Lutz's name for consideration at the next city council meeting when they vote on officers. He's a business owner in the community and just been on the EDC for 2 years. I think is a valuable member of the board and has got some experience under his belt. And that's entirely up to y'all if you want to make the motion, get a second and vote on it or not.
I didn't get all of that. You want to add?
Add Joel's name for consideration.
Okay.
That does fit within the guidelines of the residency and 2 non-resident members if Joel stays on.
These three non-residents. Okay.
Well, I need somebody to make a motion.
Can I make that motion?
I'll
Yeah.
make the motion.
Okay,
I'll move
move.
that we
Just
accept.
add Joel's
or
name
add
to the list for consideration by the council.
I'll second.
Moved and a second. Any more discussion? Any discussion?
And we have 3 spaces
We have 3 spaces.
that will be vacant.
Right.
Okay,
It would be 3 spaces vacant, 4 options for the council to
Right.
make.
correct.
4
That's what I didn't
appointees to choose from.
Gotcha.
All in
Perfect.
favor?
Aye.
Passes unanimously. So we will recommend
Patrick, Alan,
Adding-
Matthew, and Joel.
and, well, the 3 gentlemen we have here, Patrick and Alan and Matthew, and Joel Lutz for consideration.
Probably be a good idea to explain then the procedure and what's going to happen.
Well, the EDC board members are appointed by the city council for 2-year terms. And we modified the bylaws they went into effect 2 years ago. To change it to where there could only be 2 non-resident members on the board who weren't actually residents of the city of Helotes.
We're
And then
ETJ.
It says just residents of Helotes,
Right.
period.
But most of us are ETJ.
Well, our business owners are involved in the community.
Right.
And during that period, we ended up with 4 board members who are not residents of the city, or 3, 4, and 1, Wayne Stacy's not here tonight. He was a resident, and he has since moved out of Helotes. So it put us back when we came up to it this time, and we just would like to maintain a little continuity on the board and not have, if we go with, and you gentlemen sound like you would have no trouble catching up to speed or already have some experience with this. I just didn't want to end up with the only people on the board that had been here for over 2 months being Kathy and I to go forward. So I guess that's just a brief explanation, and whatever the council decides to do is fine. That's beyond our control, but I just would like to put that option before them.
Question. What we do is we recommend the list. It goes to the next city council. They vote on it, right? Explain it then to them.
No,
No, I can explain. Mayor Schoolcraft is responsible for recommending the appointments. So if it is not on council agenda, I'm pretty sure that council cannot act on it.
Okay.
So I'm just,
Well, that's
Letting-
why we
I was just,
are recommending to the
what I was trying
council
to
that
do is
he be
give them an
considered.
idea.
Yeah,
no, and I understand that.
They
What I,
come tonight, they made a presentation. We need to tell them what the time frame is.
yeah, the next
when
step
they
is the next step
supposedly
is it'll
might
go
come
to
onto
city
the board.
council at the first meeting in November. And that's the process. But the process is that the mayor recommends the appointments, and the council acts on those recommended appointments.
but the council can also make their own recommendations for it.
Possibly.
It's not set that the mayor is in charge of appointing the people to the EDC. It's council, the city council's job to appoint the members to the EDC. The mayor recommends people for approval, and then the council votes them up or down.
Yes, sir.
That's the way the regulations read.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we have, item 12 is a discussion on either canceling the November and December meetings with the EDC. Can we have a motion to discuss that?
I'll motion to discuss that.
Yeah, why?
Bill, second?
No, same with him. You discuss it, why, what's,
Well, we need a second to discuss it.
oh, second.
Second. Okay, moved and seconded. I think, what were you thinking on that, Rick? That was usually, well, we're looking at the day before Thanksgiving for the meeting in November is the problem.
Yeah, the meeting in November falls on the 21st, and that's actually a staff holiday. We have Thanksgiving break, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of that week.
And the next day is Thanksgiving.
Correct. So the thought would be to possibly reschedule that to November 14th, because it would fall outside of our, third Wednesday. And then the December meeting,
It's like 4 days before Christmas,
I believe so, I was going to pull it up, I forgot to add that one.
or 6 days.
It's December 19th.
Yeah.
So it's right before the holiday. So just wanted to bring it up to the board to see if they wanted to reschedule it and/or cancel one of the future meetings. Recommendation would be to reschedule the November from the 21st to the 14th.
Anybody have a problem with that?
I'm fine with that.
I'm fine with the 14th.
14th? Works for everybody that's
In
here.
the past 2 years, we haven't had a meeting in December, correct?
We've usually canceled
We normally
December.
cancel the December meeting. There's usually not too much going on by that time, but we don't have to do that right now. We can see if there's something critical or pressing that needs to be done, we can have the December meeting, or we can discuss that at the November meeting when we get closer to it.
That's fine.
And you think, Rick, that'd be better?
Yes, sir.
Just amend the motion to take to the 14th of November. That's
Yeah,
it.
just have a motion to
That brings him on quicker.
Yes.
move the meeting to November the 14th. Have a motion?
I motion to move the November meeting to the 14th.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
And I think that takes us down to staff reports for the last item. Commercial developments within the city.
A quick update, Panthers Country Cafe is taking over the lease space in Business Parkway where the former Dagoberto's Mexican restaurant was. They opened October 3rd, so they've been open about, 2.5 weeks. We'll be celebrating their ribbon cutting next Monday, pending weather. We'll see what the forecast looks like, at 11 o'clock. So that's October 22nd. At 11. And that'll be his official grand opening week as well. The El Rodeo Mexican Grill is still working on finish out. Great Harvest Bread, still working on finish out. I want to say they're approaching 10 months now on finish out. And the Healing Hands should be open this month. And that's in the 2-story building, Hill Country Crossing. I think most of you have probably seen the Pet Barn sign that just went up today. It's hard to miss. That's going in that strip center, and next door, you'll get a 46th Street pizza. And if you're interested in trying the food, they have one over in Alamo Ranch on Calabria. I think it's near Lone Star Parkway. And Navy Federal should be opening here in about 2.5 weeks. They're in there now doing setup and training. And the other big one was probably down at the bottom, businesses that have closed. First Choice Emergency Room closed October 3rd. That is their third or fourth closure in San Antonio. They have maintained 3 other locations in San Antonio, and they're all at high-traffic areas. I-10 De Zavala, Petrenko, and 151. And I think it's 1604 and Kitty Hawk, I believe. Could be slightly off on that one. We'd received notice, I want to say back in February, that they were filing bankruptcy. So I think as an organization, they've been struggling with the concept in San Antonio, particularly because you have a lot of competition with Baptist Health and some of the other name brand emergency
Baptist
rooms.
and stuff like
Yeah.
I've never seen a car there.
that. I've never,
This is the one by Sonic?
It is.
yeah.
It's a beautiful facility, but there's never anybody there.
Yeah, we've reached out. It's owned by a Riot in, I'm trying to think, Retail Strategies. Outside of the home city, anyway, outside of the home city where Retail Strategies is. So we've got to contact into their CEO to see if they're going to be putting this on the market at what price. And we already have someone interested in the site, but as a total demolition.
Wow.
Oh, my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Really?
kind of sad.
Sounds terrible.
It's business.
I mean, that building's only, what,
The
2 years
particular,
old?
I can't say who the user is, but they've been looking at Helotes for 2 years, trying
Went
to
in
find
a-
the right property.
went in there one time, and they don't take any insurances.
That is-
None.
Cash.
Can't, nothing.
Yeah, no Medicare.
Nothing, no
You pay the
insurance.
total bill, and then whatever
No
you
insurance
collect
at all.
in insurance is all you
Sounds
get.
fishy to me.
No,
I mean-
that's what Texas Med does too.
Yeah, but that
None.
just doesn't sound right. Okay.
Well, they know that's the only way they'll get paid
True.
in a lot of cases.
Right.
Okay.
I think,
That's all I have right now.
don't have anything, anybody else new that's that hot right now coming in.
How's our bridge coming?
I'll defer that.
Rick?
Do we have a bridge yet?
We don't have a bridge yet. San Antonio River Authority and FEMA are still reviewing the CLOMAR that was submitted. And so they did ask some additional clarifying questions. We answered those, and we haven't heard back yet.
Good.
But we're still, so we're getting closer.
At least
But we're
they're,
dealing with the federal government, so I don't have an answer for you. I'm sorry.
at least they got to the point they're actually looking at it to ask questions instead of it just
Yes.
sitting on the shelf.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't received any additional questions, so.
What we're trying to do is put a pedestrian bridge in on the creek down by Elf Hardware, and they came back and said that it's in the 500-year floodplain or something, and to put it in, we have to raise the bridge 5 feet above street level. That would look really nice to have a pedestrian bridge at head level out there, so we're trying to redo the
extend it
floodplan
out.
and get it approved so we can build it at grade and connect all of Old Town together.
Okay. That's
I
a
guess
nightmare.
that's it with, Lou, we're not supposed to bring anything else up, so I guess we will adjourn the
Got
meeting
one,
at,
one question that maybe
Okay.
went, the resolutions that you sent out to us, do we need to discuss those or talk about them, or what is the status of those?
Approved under the consent agenda.
That's what it was, okay, that's what I thought. Wasn't positive, okay.
Those items are deemed routine.
Right,
They're
right.
just,
I mean, they matched, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah. No problem.
Gotcha.
Did we ever talk about, I guess it's not on here,
That map?
the map.
Okay, I will,
let's do that under staff updates.
I'll just, because there's no action going to be taken. She couldn't make this meeting tonight. She had a conflict. We are planning to have her November 14th, do a
Okay.
presentation.
It's a map of Helotes and return,
You can look at one if you'd like to see one, it's here.
yeah.
Yeah, the
Most
the
small
ones you've
cities
seen
have
for,
this, and it's a listing of most of the companies that are around and gives like a street map, but kind of fun.
Yeah, they like the
Target
ones you see for
areas.
Fredericksburg and Bernie that has the ads around the outside and it shows a map with all the streets and the business listings on it.
Yeah,
You want to adjourn?
yeah, do it.
Pat, you want to adjourn?
Oh, it is 8:32,
No.
7:30.
7:32. Wow, we got through in a hurry.
We did.
7:32, meeting is adjourned.